Allah gave us the aql in order to know the truth. So it has its practical purposes, which obviously, and this gets in, we were talking earlier with the class in the moral philosophy about the moral virtue of hikmah, which is, Imam al-Ghazali calls it hikmah amaliyah, what we call in English prudence. So that's very useful, and people who aren't believers can have a certain level of, obviously do things intelligently in the practical realm. But what he's talking about is the aql, which is designed, was created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to actually perceive the ma'qulat, to perceive realities, these haqa'iq. And that is, there's tahdhib, there's a Imam al-Ghazali talks about this, because he went through the aql. Like he took the aql to its extreme. He mastered what they call the ulum al-aqliya of his day. So he was a master debater. He could do all these things. But then he realized that he was sick. Like he was spiritually sick. And he wanted to transcend the aql and get to the ruh, right? To perceive reality, which is the name of the aql when it's directed towards ruhaniyat, right? So it has these different names. And he set out on that path, and he's Hujjat al-Islam because he proved it. He proved that if you do the work in our tradition, you will get the results if you do the work. And that's why, in that way, one of the hallmarks of modern science is what Karl Popper called falsifiability. Like in modern, what they say, science is falsifiable. In other words, if you say that water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 Celsius at sea level, so that's a scientific fact. How is it a fact? Well, empirically, we can go down to sea level and we can freeze something if we have the right instruments to do this. We take water and then bring that water down to 0 Celsius, and it will freeze. And it'll do it every single time. It won't do it at -1 Celsius or +1 Celsius. It will always be at 0 Celsius. If we could get it at 3, our machine's broken, right? But that is falsifiable. So unless you can test it, it's not science. And that's why for us, the spiritual path is scientific, because it's been tested many times. And the same things happened to the people that set out on this path. The same experiences, the same, and also the same pitfalls, because just like science can go wrong, spiritual experiences can go bad, which is traditionally why people needed guides to help them in these things. So that's the reality, is that the intellect is designed to know God, and to know God. And there's two knowledges of God. There's salvific knowledge, which is just to know that God exists, and to believe in God, and then to believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent messengers, and those messengers have consistently come with the same essential messages. Their shariahs differ because of different times and places, but the essential message is the same. They told us that there's one God. They told us that there's a day of judgment, that we're going to be resurrected, and they told us that there's a hell and a paradise. And then they gave the guidelines of their sharia, but then there were those things that were universal in terms of the two fundamental laws of all religious traditions. There are two fundamental laws. The first law is do whatever you promise to do. And that's all of civil code is under that law. And the second law is do not harm anybody in their person or property. And that's tort law and criminal law. So those are the two fundamental laws. And all the prophets taught those same things. They taught those same things. So our Prophet ﷺ is the last prophet. He's the final prophet. He's the Prophet ﷺ that came kafa, linnasi kafa. He came for all of humanity, and he's unique in that. Even Christ said that I've only come for the lost sheep of the tribe of Israel. I mean, his tradition was universalized, and I mean, there's a verse in John, but John's a late gospel of preaching the gospel to all the nations. But I mean, Christ was the Messiah of the Jews, and they rejected him. So our Prophet ﷺ is for everybody. So accepting that's the salvific path to God. If you just know that and believe that and do your best, you're going to be saved. The way of sanctification is a more arduous path. It's the way of the saints. It's the way of the siddiqun and the shuhada and those people that وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْعَقَبَةُ. Those are the people of the steep ascent. They want to know God here in a real way, and the intellect has that capacity. That's what Allah has given us. That's why it's so important, and knowledge is important, because without knowledge it's very dangerous. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Faqihun wahidun ashaddu ala shaitan min alfi abid." One faqih is more dangerous. He's more harsh on shaitan, more difficult for shaitan than 1,000 devotees. Devotees are very easy to lead astray. They're very easy to lead astray. If they don't have knowledge, they're very easy. The Sufis are the easiest group to lead astray, are the Sufis, without knowledge. And a Sufi without knowledge that's why Ahmed Zarruq said, just avoid Sufiyun Jahil, the ignorant Sufi. Because tasawwuf has to be coupled with knowledge. If there's no knowledge, then it's a disaster. But they're very easy, and that's why they're the people that fall victim to a lot of innovations. Bid'ah is very easy because they're devotees. They love devotion, but they end up there's Sufis that, they sing all night and then they don't pray Fajr. I've seen that, so I know it's real. They'll just sing all night, have mawlids and inshad, and then they sleep through Fajr. It's better to sleep the whole night and pray Fajr. Guarantee you, 100%. And then there's a lot of these charlatans, that do these things that are very dangerous too. I was in Wales, and they told me, there's this Sufi sheikh here who doesn't come to Jummah because he says he prays with the Prophet in his apartment, Jummah. So I just told him, I said, he's not telling the truth. First of all, Abu Hanifa says you have to have at least 3. But the Prophet ﷺ is not going to pray Jummah in Wales. Just astaghfirullah. Anyway, it's just sad. People, and either they're deluded, I don't know, or they're just liars. There are liars out there. The worst type of people are the people that tell these lies. Religious. They're like, I'd rather have a mafia don any day of the week than a religious charlatan. Any day of the week. Because the religious charlatan, the mafia you can get over if they shook you down, like racketeering. You could get over that little trauma. But the religious charlatans, they can really create great trauma in people. And people lose their faith because of bad experiences with false teachers. So, anyway. Mm-hmm.